What's up, ladies and gents? Welcome back tonight, Monday night. That means two guys and a trailer. The most professional movie review channel on YouTube, hands down. Don't even look it up. Don't waste your time. Nothing to see here. Just two guys and a trailer. Fuck yeah.
That's right. Professionalism.
So tonight we're talking Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
We're talking. I literally can't call anybody else's name. Well, maybe Julia Stiles. In the Bourne Trilogy. But you know what? I said we're going to start this thing off with a big, I don't know, maybe a little bit of controversy. We'll call it that. A big scolding, most definitely, to Stephen Garlington.
Okay.
Because, you know what? You're kind of a dick. Sometimes when we get into these movie reviews, you get, I don't know, maybe slightly overzealous is the term I'm looking for here. But you told me not too long ago when we were doing the Daniel Craig 007 trilogy, you said, don't even bother with Quantum of Solace. It's garbage. It is trash. As he put it.
It is.
Well, because I couldn't get enough Bond, I went back and I watched Quantum of Solace against your judgment. Your judgment's flawed, dude. I don't see how you can't say that's a good action movie when it had a car chase, it had an airplane chase, it had hand-to-hand combat, it had shootouts, it had punch-outs, it had twists and plot turns and a boat chase. Like, for the dumb movie guy in me, it was a good fucking movie.
Here's how bad that movie is, Heavy. The inspector, remember where they try to tie everything together at the end?
Yep.
He has all the pictures of all the villains. There ain't a single fucking picture of that villain in Quantum of Solace. Quantum of Solace was filmed and it was being written when the writers were on strike. So it was written by Daniel Craig and the director. Daniel Craig isn't a screenwriter. The fucking movie, like, the writing is terrible. And the hand-to-hand combat is more chopped up and edited than the fucking Bourne Supremacy. That elevator scene where they're fighting in the elevator, there's at least 57 different cuts. You can't even tell what's going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, that makes a movie trash. If you're making a fucking fight scene,
I don't need to see what's going on, man. He went into the look. First of all, you should have known that. You should have known that shit was coming because you watched enough movies to know if you put James Bond in a fucking elevator full of goons, he's gonna kick their fucking ass.
But I want to see it.
You ain't gotta see it. If he had just came out, if the doors had just opened and he's putting a gun in the back of his pants, you'd have been like, yep, exactly what I expected. He whipped all their asses.
It's not a stylistic choice, is my point. It's to cover up bad directing.
Well, they don't make movies for motherfuckers like you. They make movies for people like me who are dumb as fuck, and they're going to sit there and they're going to be like, oh, that boat just crashed over the other boat. That's who I am who they make action movies for.
Would you not agree it's the worst out of all of the ones that we watch?
It's not the best, I'll give you that, but it's still a solid 3.5, dude.
Blech.
It's a solid 3.5. I would give it a 4, but let's go over to the thing and
2.5.
see. Skyfall got an 8, so that means it was pretty much a 4 across the board. I don't think it was as good as Skyfall. I give it a 3.5, easy.
2.5.
Easy 3.5, dude. I think you're wrong. And if anybody watching this show did not watch Quantum of Solace just because Steven said it was trash, go watch it. It's not that bad.
First of all, nobody gives a shit about my recommendation that much that they would avoid.
That's wrong.
Second of all, Quantum of Solace is easily the worst Daniel Craig Bond movie, and I don't like Spectre that much.
I watched GoldenEye the other day, and it was not that good.
GoldenEye, I told you.
It was not that good.
I told you, that shit does not hold up, dude.
No.
It's bad. I mean, there's some cool shit like the tank It reminds me of the fucking video game where he's driving in the fucking tank and shit. That's pretty cool. But
Yeah.
Other than that, it's pretty lackluster. But now that we started with the controversy, should we get onto this next
Let's
action
do it.
franchise that we'll be discussing? So, the Bourne Trilogy, starring Matt Damon, starts out with The Bourne Identity, which came out in 2002, 18 years ago. I was a wee little lad when this movie came out. This movie was directed by Doug Liman. The next two movies are directed by, what's this fucking dude's name? Paul Greengrass.
Greengrass?
Greengrass.
Huh.
But this movie, it's based on a book, which I didn't know at first, but now I do. Stars Matt Damon and some other people.
You said it wrong. It's Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. Dude, if you haven't watched Team America, you need to watch Team America as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Otherwise, we just sound like a bunch of
those people.
It's got a runtime of 119 minutes, had a budget of $60 million, and at the box office, it brought in a whopping $214 million, making it a financial success.
Not bad.
And if we look at the critical response, Rotten Tomatoes has it at 83% positive reviews with an average rating of 7 out of 10.
Okay.
So, here's the deal.
Okay.
Me and Heavy have slightly discussed some things, and we both pretty much decided that the Bourne Trilogy can't touch Mission Impossible.
Not even close.
Even on its worst day.
No.
Like, not even close.
Mission Impossible 1, 2, and 3 are better than the Bourne Trilogy.
Yeah.
And Mission Impossible 2 was not good.
Mission Impossible 2. Oh, well, it's about, like, the Quantum of Solace.
No, it's not. It's not.
But, so, with that being said, is the Bourne Identity a good movie?
Absolutely.
I say yes. And it holds up surprisingly well for a movie that's 18 years old.
So, my problem with the entire Bourne trilogy, and it's pretty bad in Identity. It's a little bit worse in Supremacy, but it shows its ugly head, like how bad it really is in Ultimatum. So it progressively got worse. Where the boss battle, at the end of the movie was like, in Identity, it was like 6 minutes long. In Supremacy, it was like 3 minutes long. In Ultimatum, it was like 45 seconds long. It's a car chase ending with a bad guy getting shot, and that's the end of the movie. And then in Supremacy, it's a car chase with a bad guy getting his ass kicked, and then the movie's over. And then in Ultimatum, he finds where he's supposed to go, and there is no real boss battle. There's a car chase 15 minutes before the end of the movie. So
yeah,
I really hated, like, when you go back and you think about John Wick, right? The boss battle in John Wick was this 20-minute epic that was the entire movie set the stage for this fight at the end, right? Even The Matrix, right? They built up all three of the movies to the final boss battle at the end where he goes in and whips Anderson's ass. Skyfall, the 007 kind of has each one its own little bad guy. And then Mission Impossible, the ones that we talked about, they have the bad guy, but like the end battle or the boss fight at the end is 20-25 minutes, and then there's 3 minutes of epilogue after the fight, right?
Yeah.
And with Identity, Supremacy, and Ultimatum, they're all 4 minutes of fight and then 15 minutes of explanation as to why these dudes got in a fight. And I don't like it. It takes away something from the movie. With that being said, Identity still is a very good movie. It does hold up to the 20-year timeline that we're looking at, give or take a year or two. But Matt Damon in this movie doesn't look as polished as he does in the next two movies, as far as like hand-to-hand combat skills, acting like an elite killer type, person. I don't know. I think the Identity set the stage. Supremacy kind of pushed it along a little bit, but it was slow. It was a slow push. And then Ultimatum was basically a recap of the first two with a little bit of, with a little bit of shit to further the storyline in the end.
The way I look at these movies is I think it's a really cool idea. Like it's a really good idea for a story. Like a fucking assassin that loses his memory has to get it back, and the people that created him are after him. It's a pretty good story, right?
Yeah.
But I think the problem really shows up in the Bourne Supremacy, where they overcomplicate everything. And that's why I think there's all that fucking dialogue, because they've made everything so fucking complicated that they do have to spend 15, 20-minute portions of the movie talking about shit to catch you up to speed, and then they can do some more action stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And then, well, we have to have a reasoning for that action stuff, so let's have another 15 minutes where we talk and figure out why we did what we did.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of. I don't really think it's bad in Identity.
It's not.
Identity is pretty straightforward. It's pretty straightforward, and it has the closest to like a final fight scene, right? Where they're at the house, and I mean it's not like super crazy, but I wouldn't classify it as anticlimactic or anything.
Yeah,
it's a fight scene. It is what it is. And then the other two kind of deviate from that formula a little bit. But I still enjoyed Identity. I think Identity's good.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
But,
I don't know. I think Identity kind of it feels to me like these movies were filmed in preparation for the next two. Like they knew there was. It's not like Star Wars where it's an all-encompassing movie that can sit on its own. Star Wars doesn't have to have the following or the prequels or any of that stuff. It doesn't have to have that. The original Star Wars doesn't have to have that.
Yeah.
Now, the other two movies can't really stand on their own, well, except for The Empire Strikes Back. But without the previous movies, the other two kind of fall flat because you don't have any kind of dialogue. However, this one seems like they filmed the first one to set up the second one and filmed the second one to set up the third one.
Well, yeah, and it is based off of novels. So, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they were assuming, we're going to shoot all three of them.
Yeah. But so we often talk about trimming some of the fat off of these movies. I feel like they could have done all three of these in a like to be continued 2-part type deal. Probably. I think there's enough fat across the series that they could have chopped some of it out, left a couple of things on the cutting room floor, and got a 2-part, 4-hour epic.
Yeah, probably so. And here's the thing: there's 2 more Bourne movies.
Yeah.
There's the Bourne Legacy and there's the Jason Bourne.
Yeah, which I didn't bother with because the guy who played in the movie Jason Bourne, I can't remember his name. There's something about that dude's face that every time I see it, I want to punch him.
Well, that's the Bourne Legacy.
Yeah,
That guy he's the guy that plays Hawkeye in like the Marvel movies. I can't remember
yeah,
his name.
and he's also the guy who plays in
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, something about his face, dude. I just want to fucking punch him.
But in Jason Bourne is a big letdown as far as I'm concerned. But with all that being said, because I feel like we have more to discuss on Supremacy and Ultimatum.
Yep.
Because that's kind of where it either makes or breaks the series. I think Bourne Identity does a good job of setting the stage.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner. And I think it does a good job of setting the stage, and I think it's a good movie.
Yeah.
What would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 5?
I'm gonna say 3.5.
Okay.
Because I think, no, I'm gonna go 4 with Identity.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay.
I think 3.5 is solid. Like I said, it's a good movie. I think it's entertaining. I think the idea is really cool. And it holds up surprisingly well for an 18-year-old action movie.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Now,
Supremacy.
The Bourne Supremacy.
Yeah.
Is it supreme? No. So The Bourne Supremacy came out in 2004. It was directed by Paul Greengrass, and it stars Matt Damon and Julia Stiles. It's got a runtime of 108 minutes, which is crazy because what was The Bourne Supremacy? Or The Bourne
119.
It was 119. The Bourne Supremacy feels like it's 8 times as long as The Bourne Identity.
It absolutely does.
An hour and 48 minutes. So it had a budget of $75 million, and the box office it made $290 million. And critical response, it has 82% positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes with an average score of 7.18 out of 10. Wrong.
Yeah, that's too
wrong,
high.
Motherfuckers. Wrong. The Bourne Supremacy is easily the worst out of the 3 movies.
Yes.
Hands down, it's not very good. The story is overly complicated. The action scenes are directed terribly. I can't stand the quick editing bullshit.
Yeah.
Where you have a fight scene and someone throws a punch, and from here to here, there's 87 cuts. It's unnecessary. It's stupid. And in these movies, it makes no fucking sense because Matt Damon can do the action scenes.
Yeah.
Why are we cutting? What are we cutting behind? I get it. It's a stylistic choice, but it's fucking dumb. And it's not done in this movie nearly as well as it's done in Ultimatum. In Ultimatum, you can tell what the fuck's going on, even though there's a bunch of cuts, because it's filmed and it's directed well. In this one, there's a fucking fight scene with the guy that plays like the last one of the agents. You know what I'm talking about in Bourne Supremacy?
Yeah, where he goes into his house.
Yeah, that fight scene. What the fuck?
Dude.
Like, Matt Damon is like throwing a knee, and the camera is up above like his shoulders, and it's shaking back and forth. It's like, why would you show me the shoulders in a fight scene when the guy is throwing a knee? Like, what am I supposed to be looking at?
And also, in that same sequence, he's in the kitchen dining room area. The dude grabs a knife off the table. He reaches over and rolls up a fucking magazine and starts popping the guy in the head like he's a fucking 12-year-old who just said shit.
Yeah.
You know? Bow! Bow!
Yeah, it's like big hits.
I mean, look, it's got to be demoralizing when you got a knife and you're trying to cut somebody and that dude's hitting you with Time Magazine. Like, that's got to be kind of demoralizing. So, I can't completely fault him for it. But, I don't know, man. It felt like the pacing of Supremacy is like, hurry up and wait.
Yes.
It's like fight, and then wait 20 minutes for somebody to do anything of interest. And and even when they do something of interest, it's another 3 minutes of action to wait another 20 minutes.
Yeah, and like there's the supposedly like what's supposed to be like the emotional part of the movie, right? Is he finds out that he killed this girl's parents, and she thought that her parents, like her mom, what is it? Her dad killed her mom and then killed himself, or something like
Yeah.
that, or the mom killed the dad and then killed
Yeah,
herself.
she lived her whole life thinking that her mom
Yeah,
killed her dad and then killed herself.
and then Bourne goes to her and is like basically like, that's not what happened. I killed them. And you're supposed to care. The only problem is I didn't give a fuck. Like I don't care.
Yeah, like we already knew that, bro.
Like you can't just shoehorn in a character that's like the daughter of a person that was killed, and like I don't know anything about that girl, and now I'm supposed to give a shit.
Yeah, and
I don't care.
it showed like 14 news clips.
Yeah.
It was just like a flash of a newspaper or a flash of a headline.
Yeah. Like how many people does Bourne kill in these fucking movies? All those people probably have kids and parents. I don't give a fuck about any of them.
Well,
You've trained me not to care about the ramifications of his actions.
Yeah.
Like he's a killer. He's got to kill. You know, he's in this predicament. Like I don't care about this random chick. Like I don't care.
Well,
I don't
he's
care.
too
You can't
soft
shoot
about
her in.
he's too soft about kids, because if he had just shot the dude on the boat, Wombosi, if he had just shot him on the fucking boat, the series would have never existed.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, mission accomplished. Sorry, I'm out.
It's just the Bourne Supremacy, in my opinion, is a huge step back. Like it's a big step back in quality, in story. It's just everything about it. The action is worse. The story is worse. The acting is worse. The direction is worse. Everything's worse. It's like I don't understand how this has better rating than Bourne Identity.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I give it a 3.
Huh?
I give it a 3.
Yeah.
Because it's not. Okay.
Oh, I want to give it a 2.5.
It's not the worst movie ever made.
No.
It does have some redeeming characteristics, as far as like there's the part where he gets on top of the building across the street from the CIA outpost, and he's like, you look like, or what was it? He says there was a girl in Germany that was heading up the liaison, and she goes, well, no, we hadn't found her yet. And he goes, that's funny, she's standing right next to you.
Yeah.
And when he says that, it cuts to the woman, the CIA woman, and she has this look that like of real terror. Like she really looks scared in that moment, And
but then they fucked that up too, because they do it again.
Yeah. At the end,
like what the fuck? It was like a cool moment. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then 30 minutes later, it does the same exact fucking thing where he's talking to her on the phone.
Yeah.
And she says something, and he's like, get some rest, Pam. You look tired. And then the music plays the same fucking notes. She has the same look. And it's like, yeah, what? I'm not going to be surprised twice by the same fucking thing.
Yeah. But it was, I think it was more dramatic at the end, because while she didn't look as scared, she turned around and there is a literal tunnel of glass looking at her. So it's like he could be any fucking where.
Yeah.
There's no because I mean, let's be honest. In the scene where he said it, where she had that real look of fear on her, she turned around and there's literally one place he could be.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, he's up there. I see him.
Yeah, she looks directly at him, but like he's already gone.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
Whereas, when he does it to her in New York, completely, there's no clue as to where he's at.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
I give
I've
it a.
got to. I think if this is supposed to be an action movie, I think you at least have to do your action scenes well, and this one doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, it's got action, but I think it's done really poorly.
So I'm going to go 3 just because it does to me that just that one part where she genuinely looks terrified, and the fact that the guy from Super Troopers stabbed that dude in the hallway and just like pushed him down the stairs.
Yeah.
Like, okay, he's got some gangster in him. So I'm gonna give it a 3. So that gives that one a 5.5.
Yeah, that one's rough.
Staggering. That puts that in the same realm as Matrix Revolution.
Yeah,
I think they belong. They belong together.
they're about the same.
Yeah. Now,
All right.
Ultimatum
Ultimatum came out in 2007,
was much better too.
directed by the same person, which is surprising. Stars Matt Damon. Matt Damon. It's got a runtime of 115 minutes, budget of 110, box office returns $444.1 million, making it a financial success. On Rotten Tomatoes, has an average rating of 90, or an approval rating of 92%, and an average score of 8.01 out of 10.
Well, I gotta say that does kind of sit right about where I would expect this one to come, because I think out of the 3, Ultimatum and Identity, if you said Ultimatum was your favorite, I wouldn't even question it. If you said Identity was your favorite, I wouldn't question it. If you said Supremacy was your favorite, I got to rethink our friendship.
Yeah.
Like I'm the dumb movie guy, and I thought it was not good.
Yeah.
You know. So
I think Ultimatum is the best. Like, I would say hands down, Ultimatum is the best.
okay, I can see that. You know what? I watched all 3 of these back to back to back. Me and Brittany sat down last Sunday and watched all 3 of them back to back to back. And by the time Supremacy was done, I had already bought into it. Like, okay, gotta see where this is going. First of all, how in the fuck did he get back to New York without, alarms and bells going off? What is he doing there? And how is this this sort of under the wire relationship between him and the CIA lady? How is this going to turn out? Like, how are they going to figure out how to tie it all together? So I watched this one back to back to back, which if you're going to watch them, I think that's probably the way you should do it, because you get a good injection at the beginning and a really good injection at the end, and you got to eat a little bit of shit in the middle, right? It's like a turd sandwich with 2 really nice pieces of bread.
Okay.
So you got to eat a little shit in the middle, but when you come out to on the other side, to the other piece of bread, as it were, you've got good fight scenes, you've got really good chase scenes. Again, the only problem that I have with this one is the boss fight involves a car wreck that we literally saw in Supremacy. Yeah. The boss fight in Supremacy, he did the same thing. He smashes the guy's Range Rover with a little fucking Hyundai taxi, and then gets out. The dude's not dead, so he just fucking walks away from him.
Yeah.
In Ultimatum, he did the same fucking thing, and that was like the final assassin. This is their last line of defense, coming to stop the threat of Jason Bourne, and he failed miserably and was taken out by a fucking car wreck. Like, I don't get it. The dude's been shot, stabbed, beaten. His car's taken multiple fucking hits. He smashed into other cars. He ran through, all this kind of shit, and then winds up getting plowed into a fucking water barrel. Like, that's what takes him out? That's what did it in a Range Rover? Yeah. I don't think so. So, I don't know. I thought this movie was really smart in how it took all of those threads of this guy was doing this guy was doing this guy had his hand in this pot, this guy was responsible for this. So let's figure out how to tie all of these up into a nice little delicate package to where it's you get a whole lot of information, but they make it very easily digestible in this one. So, and then it's sprinkled in with some fights and some guns and some, cars and all that kind of shit.
I think this has the best fight scene in the series where he fights that Desh dude. He fucking flies through that window and crashes in and
oh yeah.
That fight scene is great.
Yeah.
And that if you watch that fight scene and then you watch the fight scene in Supremacy, you see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's the same director, but the one fight scene, it's like you can't tell what's going on. It's just shaking the shit out of the camera and randomly throwing punches. And then you have the fight scene in Ultimatum where it's like a very similar style, but you can tell what's going on.
Well, they're also, if you look at the scope of the surroundings, right? In Supremacy, they're in a damn the entirety of a house, essentially. They've got an open floor plan where they're in a dining room kitchen area, right? So they've got this wide open space. The one in Ultimatum, they're in a fucking bathroom.
Yeah.
Like a little bitty bathroom, and that's where the entire fight just about takes place.
Yeah, it's more confined. It makes it more claustrophobic almost, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And when he grabs that book and starts beating the shit out of him with that book,
yeah,
that shit's badass.
Well, it starts in a hallway, then it goes into a living room and winds up in a bathroom. And the vast majority of the fight, like the actual fight, takes place in a fucking bathroom. And it's claustrophobic. It gets your heart rate going. It's it's literally hand to hand. There are no guns. There are no knives. It's I'm gonna grab the top off the toilet tank and hit you in the fucking head with it. I'm gonna smash your head in the wall. And he winds up choking the guy to death. Like, that's how a fight scene's good, is when it ends at the hand of one of the people.
Yeah.
And also, I had forgotten how cute Julia Stiles is.
Oh, yeah.
She ain't got no body, but she's cute.
She's cute. She's got a nice face. But I thought it was funny how the fight scene in Supremacy, he uses the magazine, and then in Ultimatum, he uses a hardcover book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it works better. Like the quick cuts and shit, I think worked really well in like a tight space.
Yeah.
Because you can get a bunch of different angles, and you still can tell what's going on. It's a tight space.
Yeah.
Right. You know the layout of the room better, right? Whereas if it's an open, like you said, an open floor plan and it's going from room to room, it's like you've done 19 cuts. I don't know where the fuck we are. Where are we at?
Yeah.
What are we doing? Like I have no spatial awareness. None of this makes sense. But in a bathroom, they can fucking cut 19 fucking times and you're still getting a large enough piece of the picture to still piece together what's going on.
Yeah.
And it does increase the adrenaline and it makes it more intense.
Well, the build-up going into that fight was really good too. The chase scene through the streets, and he's up here. So not only do you have him going to save the girl and him going to kill the assassin, but you also have the cops are chasing him.
Yeah.
So they're coming after him. So there's this dual element to that fight scene that's like, okay, even if he kills this motherfucker, he's still got 30 cops coming after him,
Yeah.
How the hell is he going to get out of North Africa?
Yeah, exactly. The stakes are higher in Ultimatum. Like you said, it is somewhat anticlimactic, but it is, but it also, it has to be, like, for there to be a resolution to the story, there has to be.
Yeah.
There has to be a point where everything's explained, right? And that's going to come across as somewhat anticlimactic in an action movie. So I get it. But it kind of redeems itself at the end where you see him swimming away You know, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
that's enough. That's enough of like a positive to end
Well,
the
you knew it
movie.
was going to happen. As soon as he jumps off the roof, you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. He's going in feet first, and he's going to swim out up under the little fucking
But I mean,
building.
it does a good job of holding on to the shot of him just fucking staying
Yeah.
like laying there in the water for quite a while before he moves or anything. Like, you know, and then you see the newsreel where they've been searching for his body and they haven't found it for 3 days, and so she smiles because she knows, you know,
Yeah.
that motherfucker made it. So I do think these movies are overly reliant on news footage for exposition.
It does seem it.
Yeah, like I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm watching CNN while I'm watching a movie. Like
I mean, the
do a little bit
occasional
more.
cut in, I'm okay with, but like being overly reliant on it, yeah.
Do a little bit more show than tell, you know.
Yeah.
But regardless, this is my favorite out of the series. I think it's great. I think if somebody in chat earlier asked, "Are the Bourne movies worth buying?" and we'll get to that.
Well, actually, it was. Are they worth renting on
Okay,
Amazon Prime?
And we'll get to that. But it's so hard because I think you have to watch the other two to fully appreciate Ultimatum.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to say that Ultimatum is good enough that it's worth sitting through Supremacy. So I'm going to give Ultimatum.
Okay, let me ask you this before you give it a rating. Do you think you could watch Identity and Ultimatum and just kind of make up the shit in between? I think so too.
Which may be the way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna give Ultimatum a 4.5. I think Ultimatum is great.
Okay.
I think it's really good.
Because I was gonna go 4.5 myself. So
Go.
Just by the scores, that gives it a 9. So that means it's on our scale the best in the series. So let's do a quick rundown.
Now, do you think? Let's answer that guy's question real quick. You think they're worth a rental?
I think Identity and Ultimatum are.
Yeah,
But
I would say if you're cool with just like maybe missing out a little bit of the story and the plot points and kind of just, I mean, it's not anything that is going to ruin the experience for you. I would say just watch Identity and Ultimatum, and if you like them enough, you could always go back and watch Supremacy.
Ooh. All right. So last week, we put it out there where we thought the Bourne trilogy was going to fall between 007, The Matrix, and John Wick. Right? Because I think we both unanimously agreed it's not fucking with Mission Impossible.
No.
So, to recap, at the top of the pile, scoring a 9.5, the winner, clear-cut winner, goes to Mission Impossible. Right?
Best action franchise ever.
Yep. Number 2, a fairly close second, 8.83 is the John Wicks. Number 3 in the stack goes to 007. Closely followed by, and this is the big one. This is the big one. So this tells us where Bourne is going to fall between the ones that we predicted. The Matrix comes in at number 4 with a 7.3, putting the Bourne at the bottom of the barrel with a sum total of 6.
Is it really that low?
Yep. 7.5, 5.5, and 9. That's 18 divided by 3 is 6.
Wait,
No,
what is it?
Hold up.
Wait, what is it?
I missed the 5.5. Stand by. Stand by.
Wow, you're doing some of that Matt Damon math over there.
Plus a 9. Oh! Oh, that definitely changed it.
Did it?
So tied for last place is the Bourne series and the Matrix.
Which I think is fair.
Yeah.
I think so. I think like Identity and Ultimatum, neither one of them are better than the original Matrix. However, those two together are better than any of the other two Matrix movies put together, right? Like, because I think Revolutions and what's the other one? Reloaded. I think those two movies are not that great. So I think like if you have Identity and Ultimatum and you put those together and you took the Matrix and Revolutions or Matrix and Reloaded, I think these two are stronger. But then Supremacy is just as bad as any of the other Matrix, the shitty Matrix. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can't talk and I can't articulate what I'm trying to say because I'm retarded.
You're trying to process the math that just happened.
Well, dude, first of all, that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was great. E equals MC squared great.
I completely forgot the 5.5.
Is that what it was?
That's pretty much.
Oh,
that's what I'm sticking with.
I was trying to figure out how a 9 and a fucking 7.
A 9 and a 7.
And then that comes out to a 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I think that's fair.
So 7.33 puts the Matrix and the Bourne series in the same breath of greatness.
Yeah. And that's the thing. All of these series are really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that Mission Impossible is the best. And if you disagree,
you're wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah.
And we made a very strong argument for it with that series having 2 10s, back-to-back 10s, Rogue Nation and Fallout, back-to-back 10s.
Yeah, and Ghost Protocol got like what, a 9 and some change?
Ghost Protocol got an 8.5.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, so yep, Mission Impossible wins.
There you go.
John Wick, closely by John Wick, actually.
Well, 9.5 and 8.8 are not close.
It's close enough.
You had a 9. John Wick had a 9, a 9.5, and an 8. And Mission Impossible had an 8.5, a 10, and a 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Mission Impossible's fucking dope.
And I think Fallout could have gotten an 11 if we had went above 5.
Yeah, Ghost Protocol, if we could go above 5, Ghost Protocol would get like a 9.5. Rogue Nation would get a 10.5, and Fallout would get it like 18.
Yeah.
Something minimum. Like that. Yeah. We've limited the greatness of Mission Impossible is limited only by our scale.
Yeah. Okay, so we got a couple of extra minutes, right? Since we started a little early. So this past weekend was 4th of July. We had a couple of movies we were gonna watch for 4th of July. Did you get around to watching any of them?
I did.
Did you? Which one did you watch?
I watched Independence Day.
Oh, awesome! Because I watched Jaws.
Independence Day is dumb entertainment, and it's fun. It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
I think my least favorite part of it is Will Smith.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a huge Will Smith fan, especially when he's like just looking at the camera. Welcome to Earth. That's what I call a close encounter. It's like I can't stand that kind of stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
When they go into Area 51, that's cool. It's a cool movie. It's like a blockbuster. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So Brittany and I watch Jaws again. We watch it every 4th of July because that is her favorite movie of all time. It's a respectable choice for favorite movie of all time. And I gotta say, as I'm watching it with a little bit different kind of mindset to critique things, but I'm also taking into account the time period in which this movie was filmed, right? Yeah. So the shark isn't the scariest thing in the world. But I'm going to tell you what, when I was a fucking kid and I saw that goddamn shark jump up on that fucking boat,
yeah,
I didn't want to go swimming. And we live right near the beach. So, like, that's a possibility, bro. I got friends with boats, you know? So it was ultra terrifying. Watching it now with the different CGI and stuff that we have, you know, would it stack up? Probably not. But, dude, if I was to rate that movie, I would legit give it a 5. Because if you updated the CGI, the cars, and the clothes, it's a fucking 10, dude.
Yeah.
It's a fucking 10.
I think Jaws is one of the best, like, blockbusters of all time.
Yeah.
I think so, hands down. I think it's a great story. I think the guy that plays the what's the guy's name? You want to find a shark, Chiefy? That guy.
Huh?
The fucking guy that has the boat. I can't do the accent.
Oh, Quint,
yes. That motherfucker, I think he's acted perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, the story is nothing like insanely creative or anything, but it's just good. And I think it's one of the best blockbusters ever. If we were going to do ratings on the ones we watched, if I was going to rate Independence Day, I'd probably give it like a 4. Just because it's fucking fun. And I watched Independence Day Resurgence, which was the sequel. Go ahead and skip that one. You just go ahead and pretend that one never happened.
Hey, what was the name of that movie we watched with Will Smith last night? Brittany? It was Will Smith and Gene Hackman.
Oh, Enemy of the State.
John Voight. Yeah, Enemy of the State. That was a really good movie, man.
That's a fun movie.
I had seen it, like, I don't know, years ago. And I got a text message. So what happened was I got a text message the other day from AT&T saying, hey, you get HBO now with your fucking phone service. So I'm like, well, hell yeah, let me sign up for this bitch. I signed up for it. That's where we watched Jaws. And then last night we watched Enemy of the State. Turned out to be a really good fucking movie, man.
Enemy of the State's really good.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about it is, like, I think it came out in 2000.
Nah, I don't know.
It may even be before 2000.
Let's see. Enemy of the State came out in 98.
Yeah. That movie's ahead of its time.
Oh, way ahead of its time, dude.
Yeah.
Way ahead of its time.
It's just crazy.
So,
because you think about, so you assume, like, this is going off on a tangent, but you assume the government has technology that's like at least 10 years ahead of what we see in the movies, right? So they had that shit in 98. They were 10 years ahead of that. Imagine the level of surveillance that they have now. Fucking insane.
Yeah.
After, like, the Patriot Act and shit.
Yeah, you got to think this is pre 9/11.
Exactly.
So this was the Patriot Act before the Patriot Act.
Yeah,
is what they were talking about.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think about. That's one of Will Smith's best performances, honestly.
Enemy of the State.
Yeah, he's not annoying in that movie.
You know what? That movie that he did, what was it? Something Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. That's by far the best thing he has ever put his fucking hat in the ring for.
I just can't stand movies like that, man.
But
that are just like, be emotional.
Yeah.
Like, but I want it to come about naturally. I don't need you to fucking beat me over the head to make me feel something.
Yeah. Well, just from an acting standpoint.
Oh yeah.
That's by far the best thing he's ever done.
He does a really good job on it. Did you get to watch Moneyball?
No, I didn't.
You need to watch that movie, dude.
I'm gonna have to find it.
I'm telling you, that's probably Brad Pitt's best performance ever.
Oh, that's the one about the what you call them?
The Oakland A's.
Yep.
Yep. I'm telling you, you're gonna like that movie. All right. Well, we don't have anything picked for next week, do we?
No.
Okay. Well, what's the game plan for that?
I don't know. You want to do potluck? Just watch some movies this week and then bring what we talk about?
We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. We're gonna watch movies, so we'll just find something good. And
I've gotten to where, like, tomorrow night there's no show, so I don't do a show, so that's when Tuesday and Thursday is generally when me and Brittany sit down, and we've started having, like a quarantine date night type deal. So we sit down, pick a movie, and cook dinner with the kids and all that kind of shit, and then we watch whatever pops up.
Brittany needs to watch Moneyball too. She'll like it, even though she probably don't give a shit about baseball.
Brittany, remember the movie Moneyball? We're watching that tomorrow night.
It's about baseball. You're gonna love it.
Brad Pitt. It's with Brad Pitt. You know what I almost watched the other day? Seven.
That is like probably in my top 5.
Yeah.
That is one of the best movies of all time.
Yep.
I don't care what Kevin Spacey did. That is one of the best movies of all time. He plays that character perfectly. Brad Pitt's amazing. Morgan Freeman's a fucking G. That goddamn movie, everything. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah, that one had what's his name in it too? Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
wasn't he in there? Yep.
Was he in 7?
Think so.
Philip Seymour Hoffman's in Moneyball.
You know who else? You know what else Philip Seymour Hoffman's in? Twister. So
that's
he is in it though.
R.I.P.
Yeah, he is in it though. on that note, all we have to say is go watch some fucking movies, and we'll see you back here Monday night, 8:00 Central, just always.
Let us know what y'all are watching this week in the Facebook group.
Yeah,
in the description.
Yeah, put up what you're watching. There's a link to the Facebook group down there. If you're already in, I don't know, find the movie poster and post it up in there. Matter of fact, we'll start the fucking post ourselves. We'll put up, show us what you're watching.
Perfect.
So
go over there and let us know.
Yep, there you go. So that's what we got. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.
Later, guys.